Hey Nathan, I've got some interesting news about the Tesla Cybertruck.
All right.
You know that we thought it was going to be basically a full-size truck?
Uh-huh.
Well, Tesla recently is telling California regulators that it may be a heavy-duty truck. Now, for all of you non-truck people, we're going to explain what that means because trucks are rated based on their Gvwr, which is a gross vehicle weight rating. Basically, how much a truck can carry with everybody and everything in it.
That is correct. That's including fluids and cargo and human beings, the whole 9 yards.
Now, a full-size truck is rated at between 6,001 to 8,500 Gvwr.
Yeah, and that would be something like a Ford F-150, right?
Yeah, or a Ram 1500, a
Right.
Chevy Silverado, and that's what we were actually thinking the Cybertruck would be. But now they're saying it might actually be ranked as a heavy-duty truck, which would be 8,500 to 10,000 pounds of Gvwr. Now, these are a lot of numbers, and we're going to go into that. We're going to go into what it means. But I think the most important thing that it means right away is, when I was at the launch of the truck, they did a tow-off between the F-150 and the Cybertruck.
Yeah, that was a two-wheel drive F-150 as well.
Yes, of course. But the Cybertruck may now be competing directly against the Ford F-250, the 2500 Ram, the 2500 Silverado, which completely changes the name of the game, completely changes the rules.
That is correct. So should we talk about the Tesla Cybertruck and what it's about?
Yeah, let's talk about the numbers that we know, and then we'll talk about the weight classifications, and then we'll talk about what that actually means.
Tesla claims that the payload rating is 3,500 pounds.
That's how much it can carry.
Yep. Towing capacity is rated between 7,500 pounds all the way up to 14,000 pounds, possibly more. Curb weight, well, it's unknown, but we're pretty damn sure it's going to be well over 5,000 pounds. I mean, come on, our Tesla Model X weighs, what, 5,600 pounds?
54. We weighed
54. So it's going to be a lot heavier than that. We know that. So if you take the 3,500 pounds payload plus 5,000 pounds or more of the curb weight, we're looking at 8,500 pounds.
Which is over the, basically, classification of a full-size truck. You're into heavy-duty land.
You are now at a heavy-duty level.
Yep.
That puts it above the Ford F-150, which it obviously went up against. And that's, well, a big question for an awful lot of people out there who thought that they were about to buy a half-ton truck.
Yeah, I mean, think about it this way. Let's use a boxing comparison, right? In that video, basically you had two middleweight fighters, right, going up against each other. But now Tesla's saying that their truck is not a middleweight fighter, it's a heavyweight fighter.
That's right.
And so that changes the numbers on the Ford that they were kind of using to promote the truck, because the Ford now is a heavy-duty truck, which is much more competent in terms of towing, in terms of hauling, in terms of everything. So let's talk about these classifications and how they work. Why don't you go through them?
Yeah, okay, so basically this is the rating level for each truck, pretty much starting at the Toyota Tacoma, your average mid-sized truck, so it's a Class 1. Its Gvwr is between 0 and 6,000 pounds. Class 2A is 6,001 pounds all the way up to 8,500 pounds, and that's your Ford F-150. Class 2B goes from 8,501 all the way to 10,000 pounds, and that's similar to a Ram heavy-duty 2,500.
Which is what now we're thinking might be what the Tesla truck is rated at, but it could also be a Class 3.
Which is insane, because it starts at 10,001 pound and goes all the way up to 14,000 pounds Gvwr, and that would be like the Chevy HD 3,500. That's a beefy truck.
Now you can go up from there, can't you?
You certainly can, because there's Class 4 all the way to Class 8. So we're talking about 14,001 to 16,000 pounds, and that's like the Ford F450. And then up to Class 5, like the Chevy HD 5500, and that's from 16,001 all the way to 19,500 pounds. I don't think the Tesla's going to be hitting those high marks. Now, if you zoom all the way to the very top of the list, it's the Class 8. That's your bigger semi-truck, and that starts at 33,001 pounds and goes up from there.
Now, what does that mean? That raises a lot of questions, Nathan, about the Cybertruck. First of all, will it actually beat an F-150? Hell yeah!
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, it'll beat an F-150, but the bigger question is, will it beat an F-250?
The thing is, this is a significantly different truck, obviously, because we're talking all electric. So different torque, different range, a whole bunch of different things going on.
Yeah, so let's talk about the payload of the Ford F-250. That's got a max payload of 4,260, which would beat the Tesla truck, versus the 3,500 in the Tesla Cybertruck. And the max tow rating of the 250, actually, Ford, is 19,500 pounds versus the 14,000 pounds for the Cybertruck. So all of a sudden, Ford just won by, I would say, knock out that round. Actually, those rounds.
Yeah, now here's the thing. Calling it a Class 2B or a Class 3 changes all of the requirements that they have to meet for the EPA, for the Department of Transportation, you name it, for a slew of things. And that has to do with everything from safety requirements, including airbags, by the way, and other components on the vehicle. So you have to keep that in mind.
So let's talk about that. So if it's over 8,500 pounds GVWR, what does that mean in terms of EPA ratings?
That means that the Cybertruck doesn't have to state its efficiency ratings with the EPA. So it could get really, really horrible range, and they wouldn't have to list it.
Yeah, exactly. On the Monroney, where it says, EPA rated, heavy-duty trucks are not EPA rated. That's why we do our MPG loops. And so if it's a Class 2B, you don't have to actually say how. So when Elon says it's going to have 500 miles of range, you got to take his word for it, or ours if we test it.
Yeah. Well, we will test it at some point in time.
So what happens if it goes over 10,000 pounds? So now not only do you not have to rate the MPG, but what else?
Well, trucks over 10,001 pound are classified as commercial vehicles. And as such, safety operating components inside the vehicle are no longer required as they are for, say, a half-ton truck.
In other words, you don't have to have airbags.
Correct. Which, by the way, Bollinger, another EV truck maker, may or may not happen. If they produce their truck, they're pushing for heavy-duty class as well, so they don't have to have airbags either.
Yeah, and then the problem, of course, then becomes that you have to start meeting like state and federal laws requiring the safe operations of a commercial vehicle.
Right.
So basically, you don't have to have your commercial driver's license,
CDL, right?
But you do have to stop at way stations or ports of entry, follow regulations guiding driving hours and medical examinations, but it does not require a CDL, which is Class 6 or above.
There you go.
I'm not sure they're going to go up that high because that's going to create all kinds of havoc.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, I didn't even think they're going to try to make the thing a heavy duty at first.
Yeah, so the question is, what does it mean, and is it good or bad? First and foremost, if you do classify it as a heavy-duty truck, it could mean that you're changing the potential customers. All those Tesla fanboys that I met and girls at the launch of the vehicle, they may not be so hot to buy a Tesla that is now a heavy-duty truck because it's a big commitment and it's a big truck.
Indeed it is. Think about it this way. Hundreds and thousands of people have put down their money, their deposit, for what they thought was a half-ton truck. And now it seems like it might be a heavy-duty truck. Those are different parameters. And for some people, that might be something that sours them on purchasing this truck.
So the thing about electric vehicles is they've got instantaneous torque.
Right.
But the thing about heavy-duty diesels is they've got a lot of torque.
They have tons of torque. And really, the one thing this all kind of boils down to for me is range. One thing we've proven at TFL, just doing basic towing with our Model X, is that it kills range. So if you have a pickup truck, and you're, especially a heavy-duty pickup truck, and you're pulling a heavy load, how is that going to affect your range? And that's the one thing, the minute I heard heavy-duty, I thought, uh-oh, that could be a real issue because, look, dude, if you have a diesel pickup truck, heavy-duty, you can get between 300 and 700 miles range depending on your driving habits.
And what you're towing.
That's
a really good point. It certainly, I think, will change the perception of the truck, and I think it will change, of course, how people use it in some ways, because now you're getting into more of a commercial vehicle, right? Heavy-duty trucks are tools. Ram likes to say they're the biggest tool in your toolbox, and it's true.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the Cybertruck, in my mind, is a lifestyle vehicle.
I would agree with you. And there are people who are out there who want to buy it, kind of want a capacity of a pickup truck and the green nature of an EV. But going up to a heavy-duty class, and I don't know if that's going to be a particularly green vehicle.
I'm actually not surprised, Nathan. When I stood next to the thing, I felt like, while it's almost identical in terms of its size to an F-150, right? The wheelbase, it's very close. When you're actually next to it, it feels like a big truck.
It looks really bulky.
Yeah. It has much more street presence. And then you get into this question of, a lot of people who own Teslas and a lot of people who drive Teslas live in cities, and how do you park big trucks in cities?
Oh, yeah.
So I guess I want to know from you guys, if the Cybertruck is a heavy-duty truck, will it change your opinion? Would you still buy it? Or would it dissuade you from buying it, or would it make you more interested in buying it? It can go either way, I guess. I got to tell you, I'll make a prediction, Nathan. I'll go out on a limb and make a prediction.
All right.
And I've only ridden it, so I haven't driven it, right? To start with, the truck is supposed to start at $39,000, which, you know, you could probably get an HD truck for $39,000, but it would be a work truck and it would be pretty bare bones.
Yeah, really bare bones.
And it'd be a gasser, it wouldn't be a diesel. So $39,000, and then it goes up from there, depending on whether you get the longer range or the tri-motor.
Right.
So in the past, Tesla has come out with these very low numbers, but realistically, they're at least 10% over what Tesla has announced. So let's say realistically, the truck might be more like a $45,000 truck, the base truck.
Okay.
All right. And I think at that price point, you are going to get a lot of lifestyle people buying it. But my prediction is that they'll sell a boatload of them the first year, after which there'll be a lot of them for sale on the used market. Because people will figure out that living with a heavy-duty truck is much different than wanting a heavy-duty truck.
Yeah, I mean, think about it this way. I mean, there are a lot of people who are going to go from a Model 3 or even a Model S up to this really massive truck, and they themselves are probably going to be slightly disenfranchised with the way it, you know, handles around the city. And then the other half of the people might actually say, I love having me a big, bad electric truck, and they may thoroughly enjoy it.
Personally, Nathan, I'm actually happy it's a heavy-duty truck. I think that means more truck for me, or for TFL to review.
Maybe.
But we'd love to know what you guys think. So in the comments below, let us know if this is good, bad, or indifferent. As always, this is Roman.
And Nathan.
Saying thanks for watching. Remember, check out TFLtruck.com for more news, views,
and more EV truck reviews.
and remember, come back Monday when you'll be back here doing another live show. So if you've got questions, please stop by for our live show every Monday and Friday at noon Pacific Standard Time, where we answer all your truck and car buying questions and what truck or car should I buy. See you next time. Ciao.
See ya.